Thank you for coming to E-BikeKit. You're watching the troubleshooting video. This video in particular is the second video of this troubleshooting series. We already went over the first video with regard to connections, chafed wires, and setting up your LCD display. This one moves on to the battery, and this is a kind of a different animal, so we want to make sure if you're having any kind of cutoff problems, any lack of power problems, this and that, it may be that your battery needs to be diagnosed. You may have a battery problem. So we did the second video just for the battery. Now, in this case, this is a 36 volt battery from E-BikeKit. It's a sealed lead acid battery. You may have gotten a battery somewhere else. The kit will run on any 36 or 48 volt battery, and we do offer the kit without a battery so you can use your own. If you have your own, you're going to have to talk to the battery manufacturer, but a lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you does apply to all batteries, okay? So the 36 volt battery, sealed lead acid, and I want to show you how we're going to diagnose it. Let's say we think there's a problem. We come to the battery. What we have coming off the battery, and this is the case for most batteries, is a discharge. So this connects to your controller. It's a two-prong female from E-BikeKit. This is a discharge, and this is the charging one. This one connects to your charger, which is back here, okay? So we're going to say this is a 36 volt battery. All right, and on the back of the charger, you can see what the output is. This one is a 42, which is typical of a 36 volt charger. You're going to want to get a multimeter. A multimeter is something that measures voltage, and you're going to want to have it on a setting which is voltage AC/DC. And if you can see that, this is a $15 item from the hardware store or Home Depot that you can get. But this is really how you diagnose what your battery's putting out and if it's healthy. So a 36 volt battery should be measuring anywhere between, let's say, 34 volts up to the charger top, which is a 42 volt. I don't know what the charge is on this particular battery, but you put your multimeter on DC. You have your black and your red. It doesn't matter which one you put in to which hole here, okay, which one's black, which one's red. If you put it in backwards, it's just going to give you a negative number, but the absolute number is what's important. And we need something that's going to be somewhere above, like a 32, and it's not going to be higher than a 42, which is the output of the charger. And by the way, this is going to be different for a 48. It's going to be different numbers, but the key here is, do we have a healthy battery? Is it within a healthy range, okay? We're going to put these in here, and you want to make sure not to touch them together. It's kind of hard to touch them together if you're actually getting them in. Hopefully your leads are long enough to get into the holes. But you can see when I do that, you can see the readout is a 37.55. So this is a well-charged 36 volt battery, and that's normal. The low voltage cutoff for the E-BikeKit, and this is important, the low voltage cutoff for the E-BikeKit controller, if the LCD is set at 36, is going to be 31 volts. If you have a battery that is unhealthy, that is below 31 volts, it is not going to operate the system. Again, low voltage cutoff to protect the system, the controller, the LCD on a 36 volt setting is 31 volts. If your battery is not at least 31 volts, it will not power, okay? Now, if you have it 48 volts, E-BikeKit is 36 and 48 volt compatible. If you have it set up for 48 volts and you're using a 48 volt battery, 43 volts will be the low voltage cutoff. If you're using a 48 volt battery, you have it on the 48 volt setting, and your battery is not healthy enough to give you at least 43 volts, the low voltage cutoff, it will not power your system. Okay, that being said, we can see here on the multimeter that we have 37.58. Okay, so that means this is a healthy battery. At this point, I would say, unless there's something wrong with the connectors, if you're getting a good connection here and you have that reading, that this should power your system, and this one indeed does. All right. The next thing you're going to want to check, let's say that wasn't giving it to us for any reason, you want to check your charger too. You want to make sure that you're getting a full charge. So on the back of your charger, you're going to see an output over here. Okay. So this is around a 42. So this has the blue light, and also in the book, when it comes to the E-BikeKit chargers, you're going to be able to see the different specs. You're going to be able to see the different lights and what they mean with regard to the chargers. We have a 3648 SLA, we have a 3648 lithium ion depending, and you're going to see the different lights, and they're going to tell you a lot about what's going on with the battery anyway, as far as having a full charge or needing a charge. If you need to diagnose though, and you need to know, is my battery okay, is my charger okay? The charger in particular from E-BikeKit has a safety feature in it. You won't be able to get a voltage with a multimeter off the charger unless it's plugged into a battery, unless it has at least 3 volts actually. So the way to test your charger, we want to make sure that's working, is number one, you want to plug it in. You'll see that this went to a red. Okay, so it's going to charge this battery. It's not fully charged, even though it's healthy. So that's a good sign. It's going to a red. But the way to test the charger voltage is to plug that into your battery, okay, into the charger port, and then on the discharge port again, while it's plugged in and plugged into the wall, the charger, you want to put this back in, put these leads back in here, push them in, and you can see the 42.5, all right? So that is, it's higher than before. We had like the 37.5. Now we have a 42.8. This is the charger working. It's doing its job with the battery. At this point, I can say that the charger doesn't have a problem. The battery doesn't have a problem. Okay? That's a healthy battery. If you're getting other readings, then battery could be your problem. One of the things that I did want to say is, if with our chargers, they're very smart. They'll actually tell you if you have a problem. If you have this, you have the straight blue light. If you plug it in and it starts to blink, if it doesn't go to red and it starts to blink blue, it means there's a problem with the battery pack. Either it's not picking up enough to charge it, or there's a broken wire, or there's something else, but the blinking blue light on the sealed lead acid chargers will tell you that there is a problem with your battery. And then the test with the multimeter will really solidify that, that diagnosis, okay? When this is fully charged, this is going to go to green. When it goes to green, you take it off. But that's how you diagnose the sealed lead acid battery, at least from E-BikeKit. And in general, that's how you use a multimeter and to diagnose a charger and a battery.